That sound means it's time for the Tachiai podcast for Natsu. I'm Bruce Henderson, Associate Editor for Tachiai, and joining me is Tachiai creator Andy. Say hello, Andy.
Hello, Andy.
Andy, you've got big-ass news about the site that happened just minutes ago. Tell all of our fans what's going on.
Yes, shop.tachiai.org is now up and live. It's actually been technically live and for a few days now, but we just launched it, and we're excited to be able to offer t-shirts and mugs and hoodies and sweatshirts for now, and we're looking forward to being able to offer some more things in the near future. But for this weekend, since it's the start of Natsu basho, 20% off using the Hajime code when you order. So, I mean, the people over at Push Entertainment did a great job with these designs. I've really liked them, and no, I have already got my order on its way. It is in the country now, so hopefully I'll be getting it soon.
Yeah, so Andy and I ordered right away. We were hoping we would have our shirts on for this video podcast, but unfortunately, you know, postal services are unpredictable and usually not nearly as fast as you want to. The other thing I wanted to bring up is that just within the past week, Tachiai has gone to its 400,000th view. Now, I mean, we know that Jason has like thousands and thousands of views on his video, but for a little hobbyist blog, this was a kind of a big deal for us. Is that, you know, you look at these numbers and you suddenly go, I guess a lot of people do look at the site from time to time.
Yeah, I mean, well, and I didn't realize that Tochi no Shin video had already cracked 1 million views.
Isn't that crazy?
That's pretty insane.
That is insane stuff. By the way, if you haven't read the interview with Jason part 1 and 2, we have Josh did a fantastic job of putting that together and getting it up on the site, so feel free to go over and check it out. So let's get started. Usually we do this right after the Banzuke comes out, but due to a number of crazy factors we didn't. Now we're doing it just literally about 24 hours before the basho starts. So let's talk about who's healthy and who's not. We already know for a fact. Let's deal with the sad news first. Kisano Sato, of course, sitting out yet again. Takayasu injured as well. Thoughts about that, Andy?
Yeah, I'm glad that we were actually able to delay this for those few days so that we could actually find that out. That's pretty big news. And honestly, I think that this makes me look forward to the tournament even more, because having guys that are questionable going up on the dohyo, like, I don't know. I get trepidation. I get nervous when especially when Kisano Sato has been going up there and trying to get started, when you know he's not going to be able to make it full 15 days. So for them to come out and just go ahead and go Kyujo, very wise decision. I am hopeful that everybody else is Genki. And maybe in a tournament or two, hopefully in 2 tournaments, we'll be able to see them back and Ura back. So we'll see. Okay,
you said the magic word. Let's talk a little bit about Ura. So Ura surfaced during some joint Ichiman training, and you know, he didn't actually take any practice, no butsukari, any of the rest of that stuff, but he did dress up. He was in a black mawashi. He's Akushita 50 now and dropping like a stone. What is going to happen when that guy comes back? Maybe by Aki, maybe by Kyushu. What do you think? Where do you think he's going to end up? And just how many broken bones will people have as he begins to tear his way back towards his rightful place up in the upper divisions?
I really wish that I would be able to get some of that early on footage, because I think he'll be down in Sandanme, maybe in the probably down in Sandanme by the time that he comes back. And so it it would be, I don't know, it'll be very interesting to see
Yeah.
him taking on I guess the lower ranked guys for a while. When I mean he will clearly be much more skillful than them, but he'll also hopefully be nursing and a bit more careful with his I guess uh, his magic like moves, and so
Meaning,
I
hopefully, he'll put a little less lateral pressure on his knees.
exactly. So it will be interesting to see him come back, because it's like I don't expect the same flexibility that we've seen
Yep.
last year, but he definitely has the skill, and so I really hope that he comes back and he eases into and this is really, I mean, for me, this is really the reason why I appreciate it when guys who get injured do go down the banzuke, because it does allow them a way to ease themselves back into I guess into major league sumo, whereas like in Major League Baseball, if the pitcher has Tommy John surgery, he doesn't go back and immediately start throwing against the big
Yep.
boys. He works his way up, usually in at least in AAA, before they let him come back. So it's I think it's pretty wise to I guess be cautious. So and then with Tochinoshin, he kind of set that blueprint,
Yep.
and Teruno Fuji is kind of the poster child for why it is important to take your health into consideration.
All right, so let's talk about who's Genki right now. We're going to stop at the top, or we're going to start at the top of the Banzuke. Let's talk about Yokozuna Kakuryu.
Genki.
Yeah, he seems pretty darn Genki right now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
and honestly, like this basho, I'm gonna be very optimistic, and I'm thinking pretty much now that Kisano Sato and Takayasu's injury was a little bit surprising, but now that I mean, since he decided it was serious enough to where he was going to go Kyujo, I am being optimistic and saying everybody is Genki except for maybe Ikioi. He he worries me sometimes, and Aminishiki just he's always got a little bit of
no, the only thing holding Amanishiki together is gristle and determination at this
yeah,
point.
yeah. Yeah, he's never like really 100% anymore. But he'll give it. Both of them actually will give it 100%. I mean, the fact that Ikioi was able to get such a good record last time around, when he was clearly feeling some pain,
Yeah.
was it's just one of the reasons why he's always up at the top of my list for.
Ikioi was a walking orthopedic intervention last time.
Yeah,
I mean,
and yet somehow he still gambarizes, and really gives it 100%,
oh yeah.
and so he's back, and he's definitely one of my. I've started to track what I'm calling the vowels of the AEIOU of Abi, Endo, Ikioi. O was Onosho, and Ura down in and sometimes Y Utakayama. So I'm
That's
looking
damn
forward
clever,
to those
man.
guys.
That's awesome. AEIOU and sometimes Y. Very nice. So there's been quite a bit of discussion, at least in fan circles, swirling around Hakuho. Genki?
Yes.
You think
Yes.
he's Genki?
I really want to see a Genki Hakuho.
Oh, everyone does.
And I'll be it was very good to see him pick up the Yusho in that one tournament over the Jungyo, and so I'm very hopeful that he's he's probably not 100%, but he's hopefully close enough. And 80% Hakuho is still a dangerous thing, and maybe 13 wins, 14 wins, something
Yeah.
like that.
So
Probably
Moki
no
Kintamayama was talking about how he does not think Hakuho is going to go the distance, which I'm not necessarily going to gainsay sort of the Grand Wizard, the Grand Master, the Grand Poobah of sumo fandom across the internet, but I have to wonder what his insight is because, yeah, he did not necessarily dominate in all of the practice matches, but I mean he could just as easily be sandbagging this one.
Yeah, I that's the thing. There's so much of the injury news that they really hold close to the vest.
They do.
And especially we in the English media don't find out much, and you really have to try to uh, like try to get my wife to help me translate some of the news articles to get some more insight. And even in the Japanese media, a lot of doesn't get covered as far as like specific injuries and stuff. So the thing is, it would be great to have been able to over the past few days just watch him in person and be able to see like the last few days of Keiko and see if basically see if that toe has really been hurting him or if it's still just a nagging injury.
Yeah,
But
swells up and looks like a plum.
yeah, and
He had disgusting looking toe. Hey, so let's move on to a fellow that a lot of people have their hopes on this tournament, and that is the big Georgian Tochinoshin, who I like to say has the strength of a bear that has the strength of two bears.
I'm really, really just hoping he doesn't try to pick up Ichinojo this time.
You don't think he can? I think he's been squatting whatever Ichinojo weighs plus 50 kilograms in the gym. That's what I think he does. That's his goal.
The thing is, I'm now that Ichinojo has packed on a few more pounds, I'm like, hopefully that's just not the it it's not a little bit too much for him, and so especially with his knee, I'm just really, really hoping he can stay healthy because a respectable tournament from what I think 9 wins gets
No,
him
he's
back
going to need to
30.
go double digits, I would think.
Well, and that's the thing. He's like I'm hopeful that I'm hopeful that he'll be able to make it to 10 wins, but that is a pretty tall order.
It's a tall order if you've got a Genki Hakuho and Kakuryu running around. It's lightened a little bit by the fact that Takayasu's sitting out because that was always a big, big fight was Takayasu and Tochinoshin.
And that was actually, it probably would have helped him a little bit if the injured guys had stayed in and been
been pushovers.
Yeah, and now he may have to face Kodo Shogiku
So he's
instead.
fading, but he's really unpredictable because if he can lock you up in his favorite grip, there isn't much that can be done to prevent the hug and chug from pushing you right off.
I mean, he's still giving people a run for their money, and I have been impressed at how I guess his staying power, and now we may see his career last longer than Kiseno Sato's.
Yeah, that would be interesting indeed. So you mentioned our favorite pony tossing cuddler, as Hiro calls him, the Mongolian behemoth, Ichinojo, the boulder. Good Lord, he's put on still more weight, and he's now up at Sekiwake. And what on earth is going on here?
I worry about the weight because we've seen his back
Yep.
uh, just not. If his back is hurting him, I mean, if he's not 100%, he's a lethargic. Uh, I
Rubbery
mean, he's
mass.
not a monster. He's a pushover.
Yep.
And so we want to be able to see a behemoth out there, like somebody who's able to not just stand there and tire the other person out, but somebody who's actually able to get that momentum moving forward, and hopefully bowl over Kaise's, Goedo's, in order to.
I am looking forward to Ichinojo versus Goedo. If
Yeah.
Ichinojo is Genki, this is gonna. I mean, no points against Goedo because he always seems to come at it with energy. But good lord. So let's talk about Endo. Good old Endo has finally made it to the Sanyaku. Um, what do we
I
think's going to happen here?
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm in another case where he got injured. He had the ankle problems. He went down to Jurio, and now he's finally back up in Sanyaku. And the thing is, a lot of these young guys. He's not one of the young guys like the Ono shows and Mitake Yumi's, but he's close. And actually, he may be the same age as me. I got to check that out. But he is peaking at the right time where there's going to be change up
Yep.
in Sanyaku,
Yeah, he is peaking at the right time.
up in the Yokozeki range. There's going to be a lot of change,
Yep.
and so these guys who are able to peak right now, that's really the best time. Whereas, and this is why, for me, Kisano Sato is such a tragic figure, because he has been peaking for like 5 years, but it happened to be when Hakuho was prime, when you had
Yep.
Haruma Fuji out there like winning the U shows that Hakuho didn't,
That's right.
and he was perpetually the bridesmaid. He had like 4 Jun shows in a row a couple of times,
Yep.
and it's like people have been very excited to see, oh well, who are we going to get next, who are we going to get to fill in what looks like 3 or 4 voids over the next year at Yokozuna and at Ozeki. But Kisano Sato was there for so long, but basically because it was prime Hakuho time, he never had that chance to pick up those needed U shows. And as soon as he does, in like storybook fashion,
Yep.
it ends his career.
Yep.
And it's I mean, tragic to me.
There's
But
really nobody who can fill Kisano Sato's shoes. He's kind of been a unique figure in the sport, at least during the present era. So let's talk about, you brought up another interesting subject, which is Mitake Yumi. Mitake Yumi, who lodged himself squarely at Sekiwaki for a good number of tournaments, had a kind of stinker there in Osaka. Um, I refer to him many times in our postings as future Ozeki Mitake Yumi because he for a while seemed like the rikishi who would probably be able to pull it off, but never went into double-digit wins. What's going on with this guy?
yeah, he was the one that I thought was going to be peaking at the right
Yep.
time. But he, like you said, he never was able to pick up the double digits. And not just this past tournament, but even the tournament before it, he didn't look completely solid.
Yeah.
Like he kind of he looked like he was going to pick up his Kachikoshi, but that was it. Not really
Yep.
making a run for Ozeki. So I'm wondering if maybe he really wasn't trying to make a run for Ozeki, and he's trying to just bide his time, stay healthy, and
Yeah.
see what happens with these old guys up at the top of the Banzuke. Um, because he and Shodai have been, I don't know, I feel like there's more there to those guys
Yeah.
that they've got the ability, but that they, for whatever reason, haven't really wanted to, I don't know, push it over the edge this like the past couple of tournaments.
All
And
right.
so
So let's talk about your A of your AEIOUs. Let's talk about Abi. People are going crazy for the spindly monster. Um, uh, it's his first time up in the big leagues. He's going to get a lot of attention. He's going to face a lot of tough people. How badly is he going to get thrashed?
the thing is, he with his reach, he is able to keep guys at bay, and also he's able to get the hataki komi losses where um, he's able to just basically, I don't know, slip and not get injured, like lose balance sometimes, and I'm thinking that those kinds of losses, rather than the ones where you get thrown into the first and second row of the dojo,
Yep.
if you're able to just basically slip, stumble, that kind of thing, he'll he will be able to play safe sumo, I guess, and it it will be a challenge with the competition that he's facing here, especially if they get him on the belt. It it will be very interesting to see him facing Yokozunas and Ozekis uh, with some Yotsusumo, like trying to get uh, I don't know, some like grabbing the Mawashi and getting some real belt battles.
Yeah.
But I really don't see him getting into many of those. I
So,
see him getting like a quick slippy Otoshi loss before that
all
happens.
right. So we'll talk about one of my favorites, Daisho. Thoughts about him, Genki?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say Genki. Um, Miss, he's one of the Miss Scarlets, and I think I think he will do a um, he'll do a respectable job, and he's one of the guys that's he he's kind of flying under the radar. He doesn't get the attention of the of
Yep.
Abi or a lot of
Well,
the other
he's
more
in
elect
Majishira 3, so he's going to, he's in the joy.
right. Like Yutakayama will get definitely more attention,
Oh, yeah.
and Abi, uh, and so it wouldn't surprise me if we see Daisho getting like just magically somehow 8 wins, or 9 wins, and uh, just quiet,
Yep.
quiet.
So let's go on and let's talk about the day one Torikumi. There's a lot of great matches that are coming up on the first day. So I'll tee a few of them up for you. Arawashi and Chiyonokuni. Arawashi has had a number of dud bashos in a row, and Chiyonokuni always comes out guns blazing. The guy is a whirlwind of activity, but he is not winning.
The,
What are your thoughts on this match? Because it has a lot of potential.
and that's the thing, is that these guys should be like Maegashira threes instead of Yutakayama and Daisho. They're guys who, like you said, are pretty fierce. So I'm not sure if they're like, well, at least if last tournament their injuries were, I don't know, just more than they could handle. But I mean, Arawashi is a guy who he can can sometimes really surprise, pick up a win against Hakuho, and Shionokuni, he's always a solid wrestler, so it really comes down to their health, and we'll get a good gauge, I think, in that first match about how ready both of them are for this tournament. If we see one of them just completely owned, we'll probably know that he's not really ready for the tournament, but that has it has an opportunity to be a very electric match, though it's not my match of the day.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to your match of the day. Don't worry. So next one I want to talk about, because it's another interesting aspect. Taka Keisho and Hokuto Fuji. So Hokuto Fuji at one point was, really the up-and-comer. He's picked up some injuries, and now he's sort of limping along. Taka Keisho, not really a different story there. Bouncing around up in Sanyaku and up in the top Majishira, and now he's looking for a recovery. Both of these guys can really put in the wins, but not recently. What are your thoughts on this match?
Couple of tadpoles that went into the big pond a little bit too quickly, got some legs bitten off, and are now swimming along at the bottom of the Banzuke, or at least Makuuchi Banzuke. That is another really, really good matchup. Another one where it is really it will be key to see which one is the most healthy, which one is ready, and I would give Taka Keisho the edge on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's been 2 bashos since we've seen the wave action Sappari, and when he brings it out, he tends to win, and I have to wonder just how hurt that guy is.
And that's why, same with Arawashi and Shionokuni, we'll see how really how healthy they are that first day, if they're in there battling, or if it's a quick Yorikiri or something, then they may be struggling to stay in their positions in the middle of Maegashira. They may be falling.
So let's jump up the fight card to probably a big favorite, which is Abi versus Ichinojo. I personally think this one is not going to last very long. I think Abi is mostly, a pusher, thrusher, and Oshizumo kind of guy, and Ichinojo is going to look at him and go, huh?
Well, and it is going to be very, very hard to really, I don't know, when you slap Ichinojo, it doesn't seem like it really affects him
he's like slapping the Teppo pole.
Right. So I just, he's going to have to really push, and I don't think you can. I don't know if he will have the strength to really bring it against Ichinojo. But the thing is, sometimes Ichinojo is really super lethargic.
He is, and he may have a lot of ring rust coming into this.
So hopefully Abi gets hold of the belt early, is able to hang on for a little while and wear Ichinojo out, and then walk him backwards.
So we'll go into one of my favorite matchups, which is going to be Tochinoshin versus Shohazan. So we've got big guns going up against, the freaking bear here.
I'm glad you brought this one up, because this is my upset of the day, I think. I think that Shohozan puts Tochinoshin's Ozeki run into question from the beginning. Because Shohozan, unless he is injured, he's really good. And so
he's really painful. I just want to underscore that. Nobody gets away from Shohozan without getting sore.
And I think he'll make Tochinoshin a bit sore. But the thing is, if Tochinoshin is able to get in, get a grip on the Mawashi, he'll probably be able to pick him up and out and win. But I just Shohozan is a bruiser, and
Yep.
so I'm kind of picking him for the upset on that one.
So did we cover your match of the day, or is there another one you want to bring up?
Yoshikaze versus Chiyomaru.
Oh my goodness.
I
you know
really,
what? I
really-
intentionally did not necessarily want to bring this up. I am feeling really sad because my number one Rikishi is Yoshikaze, and I don't know what has happened to him. He looks like he's sore or something has gone wrong with the guy, and it's just I hate to watch him now because it's just like, oh, please, please. But go ahead, tell me about this match. This is gonna be awesome.
No, that's exactly why. Like, I really want to see it will. When I was talking about the other ones earlier about the first match really gauging how kind of healthy they are, it's really this Yoshikaze and Chiyomaru match where I think we'll get a glimpse of how whether the time off from the last tournament was enough to let Yoshikaze rest and hopefully come back in a fighting spirit.
Yep. I think his spirit's there. It seems like he's not quite physically all together right now.
And that was the thing is like there were a few times in that last tournament where it seemed like the spirit had actually gone and he was.
Yeah, he just sort of was like, oh man, what am I doing here?
Yeah, I mean, there were a few times where it was just like, kind of, I got the same vibe, dispirited vibe out of him from that I would sometimes get from Endo sometimes, where if you get the feeling that he mentally knew he was going to lose that match anyway.
Yep.
And so he was just dispirited. And so I'm hopeful, very, very hopeful that Yoshikaze I just called Shohozan a bruiser, and so I got to come up with another name for
Call him the Berserker. Call him the Berserker.
Yeah, the Berserker. So no, the Berserker needs to be back.
He does.
And so I'm really, really looking forward to that. And you can't get a better matchup than Chiyomaru. I mean, against the Berserker, because it's like the bowling ball versus the Berserker. And it will hopefully be very entertaining.
Will Chiyomaru attempt to eat Yoshikaze?
Well, or at least maybe hide him underneath his
third or second roll.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned Endo, so I'm going to go for my match of the day, which is Yokozuna Kakeru versus Shin Komusubi Endo. Hey, let's not hold anything back. They are going to throw him in the fire right away. Kakeru, of course, very reactive sumo. He tends to like to let his opponent make a mistake and then makes them pay. Endo, very technical, always thinking about what he's doing. For the most part, it seems, always has a plan. He doesn't always necessarily get to follow it, but he has a plan going in. This could be a really quick match, and I think Endo may surprise Kakeru here. Thoughts?
Absolutely, because there were several matches last tournament where it seemed like Endo had kind of turned the corner.
Yep.
But for me, it's like Endo has been, I don't know, kind of studying a way to, both of them seem to be guys who are trying to win by moving backwards or moving laterally.
Right. Highly mobile, both of them.
Right. And so I don't think either of these guys are they're not going to push forward and try to overpower the other. They're going to try to get the other guy to basically let his own momentum carry him out.
Yep.
And so I hope that it doesn't turn into a somebody backing up to the Tawara and kind of slipping to the side and accidentally stepping out.
Yeah.
And like what we've seen with Goedo sometimes, where he's moving backwards instead of
Oh.
forwards. But it seems like Kakuryu and Endo are uh, they've got kind of similar styles, so it will be an interesting matchup.
Okay. The
But
Goombay is facing forward. It is time for predictions. I want your prediction for Natsu. Let's have it.
uh, Tochino Shin comes up with 9 wins, and we're wondering whether that's going to be enough or not. It will be very, very interesting. Um, Kaisei is really, really high up, and I think he's going to take the brunt of the joy. But I am going for Zensho Yusho from Goedo.
Whoa. Bold, 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 bold,
He's
bold.
gonna move forward,
I
and
got to write this down. No, actually, here. I have a bunch of 3x5 cards. Let me give you your Kensho.
I he's got it in him when he moves forward, and so I'm going to be optimistic and say he with the attention on everybody else, he is going to capitalize and and pull this one out, and especially he's not I mean, he's no joke. He's definitely somebody who picks up Kachikoshi usually. I know he was a Kadoban twin for a long time, but lately he's been able to step up, and so yeah, I mean, he's. I think now is the time when we are going to see Goedo actually move into Goedo 2.0.
Oh, let's hope. I would love nothing
Permanently,
more than have
maybe
Eternal
2.0.
Goedo 2.0. I'd like to see Yokozuna Goedo 2.0 because that would be truly terrifying. Goedo 2.0 is just this unstoppable attack beast.
So I'm hoping that that maybe we've gotten a maintenance release out of him, and so we've got Goedo 2.1, and he's gonna have a little bit more consistency, and the reverse will be the reverse gear will be broken, so he's gonna have no choice but to move forward.
Okay, so here's my predictions. I believe Hakuho will go 14-1. His sole loss will be to Abi. Yeah, I think Abi will surprise Hakuho. I also think that we're going to see a nice Kachikoshi from Endo. Ichinojo will probably go Makikoshi. Tochinoshin will get 11 and will get denied Ozeki.
Oh, really?
Yes, I think
Oh,
so
wow.
because his Yusho win did not contain enough high quality wins, and they're going to say that if he makes 10 wins in the upcoming Nagoya Basho, that he gets Ozeki. So
Oh,
that's just my prediction coming in.
No, that's interesting. Yeah, it could definitely it would could definitely happen because he was down at like what M6 or
Yeah, he was
something.
Majishir 6, I think.
So he was pretty low. I don't think he faced um yeah, he didn't face many of the Sanyaku if at all.
Right.
I'm gonna have to double check. But yeah, I think that my one worry is I'm thinking that Hakuho may have a little bit of a challenge tomorrow against Tamawashi.
Yeah, that'll
Um,
be interesting to watch.
there's only been once that I can recall recently where Hakuho lost on the first day.
Yep.
But Tamawashi is one. he's a solid guy, and he could give Hakuho a run for his money. So I don't know. I'm just really, really looking forward to this.
I'm looking forward to this basho too. So let's wrap it up here. Everyone, thank you very much for watching our Natsu video. It's been a lot of fun working with Andy to bring it to you. Say goodbye, Andy.
Bye, Andy.
All right. Thanks all, everyone. Take care. And remember, for sumo, it's Tachiai.